Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru,
Balhari Guru apne Dyohari Sadvar Jin manas te devte kiye Kart na lagi var Je so chanda ug veh Suraj chade हजार Ete chanan hondiyan Gur bin kor andar Gur bin kor andhar Tan Tan Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj Tan Tan Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj Tan Tan Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Sasri Umar Ki Fateh Ji Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I've been blessed with this topic. Asa Di Var is something new. I don't talk about this before. Something very close to my heart, but not something I've ever done talk about. Obviously, at some point, probably with the Katha as we're going through Japji Sahib, we go to Anand Sahib. After the Nitne, we want to get to Asa Di Var and then Sukhmani Sahib. So, okay, this is a prelim. I'm going to rush through this. The reason I put this up is because you know when you watch a 3D movie, you can't see it unless you put on the goggles. So to see Sikhi in a way, in a 3D way, we've made this thing, a TLA, yeah? Who likes TLA? 3-letter acronyms. So we've got one as well, yeah? AGB. And what this is like just to look at Sikhi from the Sikh point of view. So it becomes a bit more 3D for us, yeah? So how to remember this? AGB, all good Paji, yeah? All good Penji. Easy to remember, yeah? Little moniker we can use. So, moving on. Asa Di Var. What we'll be covering today is the name and what is it called, and what's the kind of history of it, how is it structured, how and when is it sung. These are kind of like just kind of introducing to you to the thing itself, describing the cake rather than letting you eat it. Yeah, and then why is it popular, an elephant theory, and then famous shabads that you would have heard probably already from Asa Di Var. And then we're going to go into some other excerpts and some important themes that come out of there. Okay, so introducing you to the Bani itself. Okay, what bits in there. It's very long, takes about 45 minutes to read it if you read it and you know it well. If you sing it in Kirtan and you know it well, again it'll take you about an hour. Yeah. If you don't know it well, it'll take you about 2 hours. Yeah. So or more. So therefore, I can only give you a couple of things, especially given the time limit here as well. And I'm going to talk about what the word that comes at the very end of Asa Di Var. There's one word, Shuddh. What does that mean? Okay. And then I'll leave it open to some questions for you guys. All right. Okay. Asa Di Var. Now, the name is Asa Di Var, but some people say, well, Asa Di Var, some people say Asa Ki Var. And I said, why is this contribution? I just want to find out what the name of it is. Firstly, there's a problem of romanization. Yeah, I'm sure Stephen knows a lot about that. How do you romanize something which has got 4 Ds? Yeah? Dada, Tada, Dada. What do you do with it? Yeah? Very hard to romanize it. Rada. What do we do with Rada? Yeah, it doesn't have, is it a Ra? Is it a Da? So, with romanization, one of the problems is, do you put 1 A or 2 A's? Yeah? Do you use a V or do you use a W? Because I use Vaheguru with a V. Some people say, oh, it should be Vaheguru with the W. And I'm like, well, actually the sound is somewhere between the two. It's quite hard to say, pick which one. But V for me comes closer. But it's, again, we're dealing with an imperfect language. English is not a phonetic language. Yeah? That's why you have phonics in English. When you look in the dictionary, it'll tell you how to pronounce this word, even though it's written out in English. But Gurumukhi is a phonetic language, right? Mostly. Yeah, 99% is phonetic. So therefore, you have to kind of go with the problem. Is it a V, is it a W, is it a double A or an A? Now with the D versus the Ki. The reason people say it should be Asa Ki Var is this. Most of the Bani and Guru Granth Sahib Ji, whenever you have a Var, now what a Var I'll talk about in a second, what is a Var. But whenever you have this thing called a Var, which is like a ballad, yeah, you'll always have it in Ki, Ram Kli Ki Var, yeah, Basant Ki Var. And we say Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, not Da, Di. So now, don't think Hindi is not a language that we use. We use Hindi, it's just fine. It's, you know, all the Indian languages are inside Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So it's no problem for us to use Ki, you know. But the thing here is, there's also other parts that have D in it, like Chandi Di Var. Yeah? So it's up to you. But Bani, the Bani itself doesn't say that it is Asa Di Var or Asa Ki Var. But it's no controversy, it's only a little word, yeah? Now, history. One meaning of the word Var is the ballad, yeah? The other meaning is an attack. किसी ते वार करना. Yeah. Now the story of Asa Di Var is a bit like this. Yeah. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj wrote all the paudis. There's 24 paudis. Yeah. Just like Sukhmani Sahib got 24 Ashpadiyaan. It's 24 paudis. Yeah. And the story is that Guru Nanak Dev Ji wrote the paudis, and many of the sloks. But when they started it was when they met Sheikh Ibrahim Brahm Salim. Yeah. He is I think the 12th or the 14th descendant of Sheikh Faridji. Now when they met Sheikh Faridji's descendant, who was called Sheikh Farid at the time as well, but he was also called Sheikh Brahm, actually was one of his nicknames. Sheikh Brahm says to him, Maharaj, that the world is duality. It's good and bad. Yeah? Everything is in duality. Maharaj says no, everything is one. Right? And so Maharaj then says, I will do a var, I will do an attack upon the one, by the one. Everything's going to be upon the one. So it's taking the duality of the world, the falseness of the world, and the spiritual world being real, and the world being false, but actually twisting it to say the world, this world is real as well, and to making it all unified. So we have a unified vision of how the world works, and not a dualistic idea. Ik or Ankar. Yeah? So 9 of the paudis were written at that time when they met Ibrahim Brahm. Yeah? Sheikh Brahm. Then the next 15 paudis are written in Lahore when they were dealing with the guy called Duni Chand, and they were staying with him. And the story of Duni Chand is he's the guy that said to Guru Maharaj, I'm so rich, I've got all these flags, every time I get X amount of money I put a flag up to say I'm even richer now. And Guru Sahib said, oh, that's great, here's a needle. It's like, oh, what should I do with this needle? And just please can you give it back to me in the next life. When we meet in the next life, make sure you give me this needle. He's like, come on, I can't do that. What am I going to do with this needle? I can't take it to the next world. So Guru Sahib said, well, look at all that money you're showing to the world that you're so rich. What are you going to do with this money? You can't even take this needle. So he realized that what he was doing was actually helping nobody, and he became a great charity kind of person. And he started giving the money away and helping people, much like many Sikhs today could do with learning about. But anyway, so when they were in Lahore with him, then they did the next 15 paudis, right? Now, it used to be sung with the paudis. So all the paudis are meant to be sung anyway, 24 paudis, right? But people would insert some sloks of the Gurus into the paudis, right? Some were approved by Guru, some they would just add themselves as their own bhavana, their own kind of feeling was. And they started to put in some sloks of Guru Angad Dev Ji as well. Yeah? And this is how it used to be sung, and it was sung every day. Yeah? What is the structure? What is a var? I said it's a ballad. Most of the vars tend to have paudiyan that you sing. Okay? And in between those paudiyan you'll have sloks, okay, that you will read. Now the 24 paudis are by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The sloks in between the paudis are by Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Guru Angad Dev Ji. Yeah? Okay, so you don't have anything else. How is the rest of it? In Guru Granth Sahib Ji it comes like that. It comes with slok, 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 paudi, slok, 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 paudi, slok, paudi. It's like, it's not, there's no structure to it. There's some number of sloks and then a paudi. And that's the theme of the sloks joins up with the paudi. The paudi is the main essence of each bit, and then the sloks kind of add up, and each could be on a different topic. There's no certain like structure to how the paudis go. Yeah. So they're on varied topics, but most of the sloks match up with what the paudi is talking about. So the paudi is the bit that we all sing, and people also now Guru Arjan effectively there's a system of chants, and what that is, a chant is hard to pronounce it in Punjabi. Comes up with chand sometimes or chant, but a chant is like another kind of like a poetical measure. Yeah, everything is a poetical measure, and it's a common word that was used at that time. Those chants are by Guru Mahela Chautha. Sorry, I put 8 in because 8 looks like 4 in Punjabi, but my head wasn't thinking straight. 4 in Punjabi just looks like you rub the bit at the top out, so it's Mahela Chautha, not Mahela Atwa. And the chants are by Guru Ram Das Ji. And they are now, there's 24 chants that are interspersed into Asa Di Var. So when you come across Asa Di Var and Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the chants are not there. The chants are separate, but when you see Kirtani Asa Di Var, or most people read it, or in the Gutke, those chants are going to be added. And that was the tradition that Guru Arjan Dev Ji and Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji actually started, that to put the chants of their grandfather into, how Asa Di Var was laid out in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So Asa Di Var was laid out in Guru Granth Sahib Ji by Guru Arjan Dev Ji, in the way it is now, and then the chants and the tradition of singing the chants was added by their son, and that's a tradition. It's not in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it's a tradition that we carry on to this day, singing the chants. So yeah, the structure by Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, they loved it, and they added the chants to be sung alongside, and the chants do match up with the paudis as well. So there's a theme that is kind of in each one. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, a little history about this. Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj loved Asa Di Var. All the Sikhs love Asa Di Var, that really like Gurbani, they really tend to like Asa Di Var. And Guruji, this famous story is, you know that when Anandpur Sahib was vacated by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and the Chote Sahibzade Mata Gujri, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji is with the Vade Sahibzade, and at Sarsa Navi there's the Parvar Vichoda, the Parvar gets separated. At that time, Baba Ajit Singh and Pai Uday Singh are at the back, and at that point Guru Sahib says, well, it's Amrit Vela, we got to do Asa Di Var. So they're being chased from behind by people. They're on the banks of the river, which is overflowing. When they cross this river, they're going to lose a lot of things. Their, you know, maybe animals, maybe their, a lot of their writings are going to go. But yet Maharaj sits down and they all do Asa Di Var. So Sikhs really love this Bani, you got to understand, yeah? For us, Bani is paramount. And Pai Uday Singh and Pai Ajit Singh at the back, and they're actually holding off the Mughal forces. Yeah? And Pai Uday Singh is Shaheed at that point. So our history of Asa Di Var is you know, it's got a famous history attached to it as well. When and how is it sung? Well, firstly, it's supposed to be sung in Amrit Vela. Rag Asa is an Amrit Vela rag. It's also an evening rag. You know that transition between day and night? That's Amrit Vela. Yeah, and so it's done in the morning, and that's when you see a lot of Dara Sahib shabads have got Asa as well, because that's the kind of transition time again. Normally, it's actually your personal nickname is your Panj Baniya or whatever Bani you're reading, and the Gurdwara nickname, this is supposed to be Asa Di Var. So a lot of Gurdwara might not read whole Japji Sahib, Jab Sahib and everything else, but they should do Asa Di Var every morning, because it's a Sangati thing. When you go to your nickname, your Japji Sahib, somebody's going to like to read it fast, someone's going to mumble it in their mouth, somebody's going to read it out loud, very slowly. So that's your personal nickname, and it depends upon your style of doing part, right? But when it comes to Gurdwara, Kirtan, that's supposed to be a Sangat thing, yeah? So that's when Asa Di Var is supposed to be the everyday part for all the Sikhs, yeah? And how is it sung? It's interesting because although it's in it's called Asa Ki Var or Asa Di Var, it's not really meant to be sung in rag. It's written at the beginning of Asa Di Var, Tunde Asraje Ki Tuni. A tuni is a folk tune. It's a bit more folksy, you know, it's a bit more like, it's not really classical music as it is more folk music. Yeah? It's a very simple tune, and all of it can be sung in a very simple tune. And Guru Sahib recommended the Sikhs to read it in this tune. And if you want to know more about Tunde Asraj, it's a story. It's a famous ballad that was around that time about this guy, Tunde Asraj. Asraj was the son of a king. He was a prince. He was meant to inherit the kingdom. His father got married to a very beautiful another second wife, who then fancied the son, Asraj. He rebuked her, said, "I can't think about this. You're my mother-in-law." She then claimed rape, and his father put him in prison and ordered him to be sent to death. But he somehow was taken pity upon by a servant who let him go and came back with one of his arms. So he was a cripple, and later on he ends up winning his kingdom. So there's a famous story around at that time, and it's a ballad, and it was meant to be sung with this tune. So the tune of that ballad, Maharaj says, sing this Asa Di Var in that tune. Yeah, tuni means it's a tune. So this is the Tunde Asraj Ki Tuni, and what we do now is we sing the chants and the paudis. So I said to you, there's 24 paudis, there's 24 shans that go with them. So we sing those bits, chant and the paudi, but the sloks in between can be read or they can be sung. So what you often in Gurdwara you see is the main kirtani is going to sing the paudi, right? And then in between, the tabla wala might do a couple of sloks, the guy over here might do a slok, and they'll go back to the singing part, right? And that's like a tradition. Now a paudi, how does a paudi work? I've put a paudi in here to understand how the paudi works. This is how the Sangat tradition works, yeah? The Sangat actually takes part in Asa Di Var. It's not just a performance by the guys at the front, the Sangat gets involved. And how it works is this: when you get to a paudi, like this one, so what would happen is the guys in the Vajja, and I'm not a good kirtani, so if anybody wants to jump in, feel free, yeah? But like if I was going to sing this again, Nanak ji upai ke likh nave dharam bahalya, uthe sache hi sach nibade, chun vakh kade jaj malya, thau na payan kudiyar mohe kale do jak chalya, तेरे नायरते से जिन गए हार गए से ठगन वालिया, लिखना वै धर्म बहालिया, लिखना वै धर्म बहालिया. Last line is always repeated, it's half. Okay? Now, what would happen is once you say this part, the Kirtani would stop, and anybody from the Sangat would pipe up and read this out again. Yeah? They would say, Paudi, Nanak Ji Upai ke likhna ve taram bahalaya. They just read it without singing it, without varja. They just read it out. And everybody gets to get involved. So it goes around the room, people can get a little bit involved. And that's the bit I tend to read out because I can't sing that well, but I'll read it out. So that's how it works. It's kind of like a Sangat repeating. And again, the focus is the Paudi. Guru Nanak Ji is given them. The focus is the messages contained in the Paudi. So look at the Paudi and understand it. Yeah. So it's nice to learn Asa Di Var. You can get involved in the Sangat then. When people are sitting there, the Kirtani can say, it'd be nice if there's a couple of people could sing the Bani, they could join in. Yeah. Otherwise it becomes like a performance, and that's not ideal. It's Sangat together. Yeah. So if you are going to read Asa Di Var, try and learn how to sing the Paudi and read it so that you can get involved with the song. Even if you read it in Romanized initially, right, it's worthwhile knowing how to read it. Why is it popular? Well, one of the things is it's against a lot of rituals. Okay. And you know, like Sikhs love to talk about this stuff, yeah? Oh, rituals, I hate them, yeah? So they get really into this. It's against a lot of superstitions. Now I put the ritual there, the janil, the string, you know, that Guru Nanak Ji speaks out against. That shabad is from here. A lot of like the sutak. Sutak means like a woman, she's given birth or she's menstruating, she's now considered impure. Yeah, those things are in there. It's also against a lot of hypocrisy and exploitation by both the Brahmins and the Mughals. Yeah, so there's a lot of real talk in there. And but then also, it tends to speak for the equality of men and women. Yeah, the famous quote, "Why call her low when she gives birth to kings?" That's from Asa Di Var. So a lot of like real life examples and moral teachings that you can apply to your everyday thing, which is why Maharaj is giving it to you to read every day, to get rid of the hypocrisy in the world. Read it every day. But also, there's a lot of stuff about Naam, devotion to the Guru. Okay, about Hukam, Homme, explaining what is ego. Yeah, what are we suffering from and how can we solve it? Yeah, so it's real talk, very beautiful poetry. Yeah, it's easy to sing. It's in easy Punjabi, so you can understand it. It's not like some of the shabads that are in Farsi, which I wouldn't even attempt to read out loud. I stumble through them myself because I haven't had Santya properly of whole of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Yeah, but this stuff is easy Punjabi as well. Yeah. Now the elephant theory is this. Yeah, you know the elephant theory. Everybody's holding on to, one guy's got the tail, other guy's got the trunk, somebody else has got the, you know, the legs, and they're all describing it differently. Yeah, and that's a bit like Asa Di Var because it's got 24 you know, bodies, and every one is like talking about different topics. So people often start to kind of say, oh, I love it because it's got these bits that I'm normally got bias towards. If I hate superstitions, I hate stuff, I love it because it speaks about that. But somebody else who loves Naam might be loving the bits that talk about that. So everybody's got a little bias for what they see it words, but in reality, it is like an elephant. It covers so many different topics. Yeah, and it kind of pleases everybody. The problem is this. Some people in our Pundits started getting into this. They like, the bits that they like, they agree with, they'll say, yes, great for that. But the bits that they don't know much about, or they don't agree with, yeah, they'll say, oh, the Gurus are just making an allusion to that. It's not real. They don't really mean it. Yeah, you've got people now who are criticizing or judging what the Guru is telling them, rather than listening to the Guru. Sunni rahe or Guru das rahe again. What's the Gurus are speaking about? Yeah, and this when you start choosing, it is this, rather than saying Bani is saying this, you're saying no, it is this way. And Guru Sahib's always critical of people that tell somebody else it's this way, and yet you know Guru Sahib's giving the broadness of it. You end up becoming closed-minded. And there is an over-intellectualization going on right now. I said that wrong because I'm not intellectual. It's anti-Naam. You've got people going around, right? And there's even people in this area, Oxford, right, who go around saying, oh, there's no such thing as repeating Naam. No point saying Waheguru, 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 yeah? You're like, excuse me? Which religion? Yeah. Just Naam and Might say again, yeah? Saying Har Ras Naam Na Paya. Why would I say it 3 times? Yeah, it's a repetition. So there's people that are now speaking against Naam, against repetition, right? So we need to be aware that if you over-intellectualize Sikhi and somebody says, oh, it's not this, part of the reason is because they've got one bit of Bani, like the tail, and they think they can describe the whole elephant in that way. Or maybe they've not had that experience, they've not felt the trunk, they've not felt the legs. So they assume that what they have is what it is, yeah? And maybe they think that I should have that experience because they're, been reading Bani for so many years, they've got the turban, they've got the beard, they've got the Amrit, and they think, well, I should understand. And if I haven't had that experience that Guru Sahib is talking about, it's probably not there. But you can't demand the experience. It comes from Guru Sahib's blessings. Yeah? And so therefore I find that this bit is important to understand that this is happening, but that's because people are choosing parts of mind they like and not really listening to other parts. But a Sikh listens to the whole thing and tries to understand where they are. Famous shabads. The first part I read out when I got here, yeah, the Parman. Very important part, comes up right at the very beginning of Asa Di Var. It says, Balehari Gure Apne, Dyohari Sadvar. I'm a sacrifice to my Guru. Daily I would be sacrificed to him. Yeah? And then 100 times a day Maharaj says, why? Jin manas te devte kiye. And kartna lagi var. Quickly done it. Makes human beings into angelic beings. And look at Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying this, yeah? He's talking, be a sacrifice to your Guru. He's the Guru. But he's saying it, so what's a Sikh going to be? Become a sacrifice to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Yeah? Because what can Guru Nanak Dev Ji do? He can make people into devte. And who did he make into a devta? Guru Angad Dev. Guru Angad was Pailana. Now he's Guru Angad Dev. Yeah? He's been made into a devta. And then Guru Angad Dev Ji says the next bit. Mahalla Duja. Jai so chanda ugveh suraj chade hajar. Ete chanan hondia gur bin kor andar. So chanda, 100 moons and 1,000 suns. Without Guru, complete darkness. Because it's not about light. It's about spiritual enlightenment. Maharaj giving us that teaching here. Then, you've seen this in Rera Sahib, yeah? Har jug jug bhagat paya, paj rakhda aya Ram Raje. Have you heard that before? They sing it at the beginning of Rera Sahib. That's at the very last body of Asa Di Var. And this is a story that in every age, he comes and he protects people. He protects his devotees, yeah? And the example they give there is of Harnakas Dusht Harmarya. Harnakas, who was he? Anybody know the story of Harnakas and Prahlad? Harnakas was an evil king. He'd done a lot of bhakti before. He'd been given a boon from the Lord. And the boon he'd asked for was that he could not be killed at night or day. He could not be killed by a man or an animal, or a woman. He couldn't be killed by inside or outside. He couldn't be killed in the air or on the ground. He couldn't be killed by a flying weapon or a sword. So he was invincible. But then, no one could kill this guy. He was trying to, Prahlad was his son, and he was trying to get Prahlad to leave his worshipping. And Maharaj says that God themselves came down as Narsingh. Narsingh was a half man, half lion. And how did he kill Harnakas? He grabbed him in the veranda of the house, not inside or outside. He put him on his knees, so he was not in the sky, he was not on the ground. Killed him in the evening at dusk, so it wasn't day, it wasn't night. He used his claws, so it was not a weapon, and it was not a shastra, his own claws. Yeah. So the rules of the Var were answered, but only God could do that. And Narsingh came and killed Harnakas. Yeah. And so this example is used in Bani that God can do what God wants. Yeah. Don't dictate to God. Oh, you can't do this. Yeah. Then Ahankari in the kapitse Naam Deo Mukhalaya. Showed his face in Naam Dev. Why? Because the temple turned. Some people are saying, oh, temple is not possible, temple possible. But Imar is saying, look, Naam Deo went to the temple, he was kicked out by the Ahankari Pundits. And Naam Dev goes on the back of the temple, he goes, God, I came to your door laughing and happy, and I got kicked out because I was low caste. And the whole temple turns around to see Naam Dev, and the Pundits are given, the temple turns away from them. Yeah. Maharaj says, the servant Nanak serves such a God, yeah, who can do these things. In the end, he would be delivered. No matter what a Sikh goes through, the Sikh remembers they're serving that Lord that can do these things. Yeah? And therefore they should be strong in their faith. Other parts you would have heard. You know the Dukkadaru Sukh Paya? Again, that comes with Rara Sahib as well. Yeah? That's also from Asa Di Var. It's right in the middle. That Dukh is my medicine, and Sukh is my disease. Why would Sukh be a disease? Because in Sukh we forget God. When you're happy, you forget all about God. Suddenly, somebody dies, you got pain, something happens to you, and what happens? We go to Guru, go to Gurdwara, do Ardas. Exams are coming up, we go to Gurdwara. We get good grades, we go out partying and go clubbing. We don't think to go to Gurdwara to say, thanks Maharaj for giving me the thing that I asked you for. First thing you do is go and get pissed and go out, right? Not all of you, but I used to be like that. Yeah. But we do Ardas all the time. Yeah. So what are we like? We are like these people, yeah? Dukh daru sukh rog paya. When we have dukh, that's actually the medicine, because remembering God is the thing that we need. But yet we forget Him the moment we can, when we have sukh. That bit comes up in Asa Di Var as well. This bit, you've heard about Guru Nanak Ji was given a string, janeo, put the janeo on, that you can become mukt, because he was from a Khatri family, not the Brahmins, but the next level. And then he was going to get liberated if he wears a string. And Guru Sahib says, this string? Are you sure? He says, give me this string. Not the string you're giving me, give me this string. Give me a string of compassion, which is the cotton. Contentment being the thread. Modesty being the knot. And truth being the twist that you put upon it. Give me these qualities. And then Maharaj says, if you give me this, this is the sacred thread of the soul. Eho janeu ji ka hoi ta pande kat. If you can, Pande, Mrs. Pandit, or Pandit, if you can make this string, maine de do. If you can give me these characteristics right now, with that string, I'll take it. But what's this string going to do for me otherwise? And they go, look, if not, because if I have those characteristics, then this string will not break. Yeah? Na hai tutte, na mal lage, na hai jale na jaye. It won't get dirty, it won't get burnt, it will stay with me my whole life. And tan so manak nanaka, jo gal challe paye. Those people are blessed to have this string, i.e. the qualities. So if you study ethics or whatever, we are a character-based ethics. We're not a rule-based ethic. We're all about character, compassion, truth, contentment. These things are what make a Sikh succeed. Not the string, not the kirpan around my neck. The kirpan does nothing. Yeah? Kirpan is there to help me. But if I have these qualities, then I am blessed. Yeah? Then Maharaj says, look, you go buy this thread for a few pennies. You sit it on, you put it on top of me, whispering some little instructions, the Brahmin becomes a guru. But then he dies and the straight thread burns away. Yeah, in the fire, it burns away. And then what happens? The soul departs without the thread. Because the soul doesn't have a thread upon it. It only has characteristics. And Maharaj carries on. So you commit thousands of robberies, thousands of acts of adultery, falsehoods and abuses. You make so much deception and secret deeds night and day against your fellow beings. But the thread you come on, you got the thread, you put it on, right? Brahmin comes and puts it on you. And you think, right? Even at that time when you're making the thread, putting it on, you make a bakra, you chatka the batka, you give the food out to everybody, make it all a holy thing. Everybody says, go on, put it on, sabko aake paye. And then Maharaj says, when it wears out, you throw away this string, you get another one, right? Maharaj says, that thread would not break if it had some real strength. Yeah? And because it's not real, it's a ritual that we're going through. So that's why some people like this idea of Asa Di Var. Then Maharaj carries on about that thread. Naim maniye pat ubje salahi sach soot. Soot is a string. Yeah? Soot is taga. So Maharaj said, this is what you need. If you believe in Naam, you praise God, that is the string you need. And such a sacred thread is worn, you keep it when you go to the throne of God. You go there, darge andar paiye tag na tutas poot. It won't break. Tutegini, the taga, it won't break. Mahalla pehla. Maharaj says, look, what's the problem with the string? Tagna indri, tagna nari. This is a bit of equality for women. They go, look, this tug doesn't keep my sexual urges down. There's anything for more, you can put a kirpan on, you can speak to us in that way. Doesn't mean you've lost your calm. Yeah, you're still under the same problems. You have to fight your mind. The battle's not over by taking Amrit. The battle's not over by putting on the kirpan. There's more work to be done. Maharaj says, look, you can't even put the string on the woman. Because women were not allowed. Maharaj, when they got offered the string when they were 9 years old, they said, why can't you put it on Bibi Nanaki? They go, it's not for women. They go, faida ki hai gaida. Yeah? Tagna indri, tagna nari. And then they said, look, palke thuk pave nit dadi. When you get older, if you haven't got those qualities they're talking about, you'll be spat upon. Effectively, you'll be spat upon because you can't, again, your feet could do the wrong thing, they could walk towards the wrong place. Your hands could do the wrong thing and the string can't hold them back. That there's no thread for the tongue, no thread for the eyes. Eyes can look the wrong way, tongue can say the wrong thing. Yeah? Maharaj says, look, Brahmin goes without that thread because he burns, he doesn't go with that thread. Vetagga appe vate vattage avrakate, and yet he puts it on other people. And I'm going through this quickly. He takes payments for these marriages, he shows them the way, and yet Maharaj says, look at this. Sun veko loka eho vidan. Look at this. Man anda, now sujan. Himself, he's got no wisdom, no spiritual wisdom, and yet, oda na dekho, sujan. Everybody says, bahut changa banda hai. Very nice guy. Because he put the string on people, he's a Brahmin. So you can see like how it's very harsh. Maharaj doesn't hold back. Yeah? You know this shabad you've heard as well? Jithe jaye bahe mera Satguru. Every time Guru Maharaj goes away to Sukhasan, we sing this shabad. This comes from Asa Di Var as well. Wherever my Guru goes, that place is beautiful, Ram Raje. The Sikhs seek out that place, they take the dust from that place and apply it to their face. What do we do when we go to Gurdwara? Have you noticed? We go down, go like that, don't we? You might think, why are they doing that? Because our Guru is there. Yeah? So we're taking the tood of our Guru. And then, Gursikha ki kal thai pai. The work of the Sikhs got approved. Why? Jin har naam te awa. By doing meditation, then that work that they did gets approved. And Maharaj finishes off with this. Ki jin Nanak Satguru puja, tin har puj karava. Those that worship Guru Nanak. Let's be clear about this. Sikhi is not about worshipping God only. Sikhi is about worshipping the Guru. Those who worship the Guru, Maharaj says, God will cause the rest of the world to worship them. Baba Nand Singh dekh lo. Whole world respect Baba Nand Singh. Huh? Baba Nand Singh only worship Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They worship Guru Nanak. Only Nanak Sar ban gaye. They called Nanak Sar, the pool of Nanak. And the whole world remembers them. Yeah? So this is the way it works. If you worship Guru Nanak, you will be. Now this translation is a bit dodgy. I don't believe in this translation. The Nanak, uthi onkadya, and the kakka. You see that kakka there at the end of Nanak? There's an onkad there. That's referring to Guru Nanak. Jin Nanak Sadguru Pujitan Har Puj Karava. Then again Maharaj carries on another thing. This is the famous shabad you've heard, yeah? Pand jamiye, pand nimiye, pand mangan vyaho, pande hove dosti, pando challe raho. If you want to hear a good rendition of this, go on to YouTube and type in Ko. Akiratan has done a very good rendition of this as well. We put the translation into it so you can watch the translation. But there's also one by Sikh student camp.
I was looking for it, but I couldn't find something decent. So
yeah, Kiratan, Qi-Ratan. Yeah, Panda Jamiya. You have to spell it out in English. P-A-N, I don't know how it's spelled. But go to their channel, you'll find it. We set the channel up because we're on YouTube, they're our mates. You can go on there, the translation is there. There's also one by The Power of Core, I think it is. By Ramta at the Sikh student camp. Very nice, Ramta, na? Beautiful Kirtan. I think you can probably find it on Sikh student camp, Power of Core. It's got all these pictures of women with turbans, and then it's got this Kirtan going in the background. Very slow, very nice. So Maharaj explains, look, from you're born from woman, you actually take milk from a woman, you are married to a woman, you are engaged to a woman, then she becomes your friend, then your generation comes from there, right? You walk with her upon this path, then Pandamua, when your woman dies, you seek another woman. Yeah? You are bound to women. Maharaj talking to the man, obviously. Yeah? They say, look, but then, why do you call her bad then? The kings you worship, the kings that you praise, they're born from women. Why do you call her bad then? Then Maharaj says, look, from woman comes. If there was no woman, no one would be here. So it's raising the status of women. Huh? Let's look at this. Everything comes from her. Even Bhai Gurdwaras says she is Gurdwaras. She is the door of salvation. Yeah. Maharaj, only God is without a woman. Yeah. Everybody else depends upon women. Only God doesn't depend upon women. Yeah. Maharaj says those that praise God, they are blessed, and their faces will be radiant. When you praise a woman, you're praising God's creation. That's the point of this. Why it comes at the end. Yeah. Don't call her bad. She's made by God. I'll put a few more in here. Dukhdaru, Jithe Jaye, Pand Jamiye, Mitti Musalman Ki. That's a famous shabad. Have you heard the shabad? Mitti Musalman Ki, Pede Pe Kumyar, Kad Pande Takiya, Jaldi Kare Pukar. This is a shabad why Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, whose Janam was just recently, they stopped speaking to their son, Ram Rai. And the Gurgadi went to their son, Guru Har Krishan. Ram Rai was called to the court of Aurangzeb at that time. Guru Har Rai Sahib's son was called to Aurangzeb's court. And he was asked to explain this shabad that Guru Nanak Dev Ji wrote, Mitti Musalman Ki. What Maharaj says in this shabad is that the Musliman, you see, he doesn't want to get Muslim guy, doesn't want to go to the fire. They see that the body being burnt is one of the worst things to happen to the body, right? They see it as like a napak death. So they bury him. What's he hoping for? Resurrection, right? You can see this applying to the Christian as well. Yeah. Maharaj said, look, he doesn't want to get buried, but the mitti of the Musliman is what? When he decomposes, becomes into dirt, what happens in the graveyard is loads of mud is there. And the potter goes to the graveyard, collects up the nice fertile clay full of all these decomposing bodies, right? Takes it back to his house, forms it into pots, then he puts it in the fire. And as those pots are in the fire, Maharaj said, look, Imagine the mitti of the Musliman is now burning. Jaldi kare pukar. It's burning. Oh, it's rori hai. It's crying out. Oh no, I don't want to burn. So Maharaj is making the idea that resurrection, we don't believe in it. That's why we burn the body. Because resurrection is not going to happen for us. Yeah? Your soul is going to get judged immediately. You're not waiting for some day of judgment. Immediately after you leave, you get the judgment. So this shabad is in Asa Di Var. When he was asked to explain it in the court of Aurangzeb, Guru Har Rai Sahib's own son changed the line. He goes, oh, he wanted to have Aurangzeb on his side. He wanted to be the next Guru. And who became the next Guru? Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji, 5 years old, got given the Guru Gaddi rather than Ram Rai, because Ram Rai changed this word from mitti Musliman ki, as in the mud of the Muslim, they changed it to mitti Beiman ki, the person who's got no faith. He goes, oh, you've read it wrong, somebody's given it to you wrong, it's not Musliman, it's Beiman. Can a Sikh change Gurbani?
No.
Not at all. Guru Har Rai never spoke to his son again. To change Bani is the biggest part, they never saw him again. Yeah. So this is a shabad. Other important shabad which I've put in are going to be coming along, but if I miss this, I'll come back to this and see what a little excerpts. This is a nice one that I like. I use this a lot. Because remember I said it's not just about rituals, yeah? We'll go through some more rituals, but look. Jinni aisa har naam na cheteo, se kahe jag aaye Ram Raje. Why did they come here? Ram ni chetya. Who didn't remember God's name? Why were they born? Ki faida si? They're a power upon the earth, they're a weight upon the earth, they don't do naam. Then, eh manas janam dulamb hai, naam bina birtha sab jaye. This human life is very hard to find. Labni aukhi hai, dulamb. Yeah? Naam bina birtha sab jaye. It's wasted. Be arth. Arth means of use, has a meaning. Without be arth, without any meaning, useless. Then Maharaj says, Hun vate har naam na bijyo, agge pukha kya khaye. In this season, vate means a season, this is the season to plant God's name. You're a human, this is your life, this is your time to say Vaheguru, to say God's name. If you don't plant it now, agge pukha kya khaye. When you leave this world, you haven't planted any seeds, what will you eat? Ki khaoge. It's not possible to eat anything, because you didn't plant anything. Look at a farmer, in his springtime and wintertime, je bag na aram naal, chutti maar, goes off to holiday, Spain, 3 months, comes back. Summertime, there's going to be no crop there for him to eat. So we have to think about our lives in the same way. Yeah? Then Maharaj says, look, Manmukha no phir janam hai, Nanak har paaye. People that don't listen to Guru, they think I know best. I don't need a Guru, I know best. Manmukh, that's what Manmukh means. Doesn't listen to Guru, listens to themselves. And Manmukha no phir janam hai. They will have to come and be reborn. They can't escape without doing Naam. That's the will. It's not, we can't jump out of this system. You know that Wreck-It Ralph? He escapes his game, goes and plays another game. We cannot escape this game. We're staying in this game. The game is, you got to do Naam to get out. Yeah? Accept the system, play within it. Hukam rajai chalna. This is the Hukam, chalo fir. Walk alongside it. Then another slok, Mahalla Pehla. Simmal ruk saraira at dirag at much. They say this tree Simmal na is straight as an arrow, really tall and very thick. What's the teaching from this? You're thinking, why is he talking about a tree? And Maharaj, look. Ohe ji aave aas kar jahe nirase kit. Those birds that visit that tree, which is hankari, proud, thick and tall, they get no shade from that tree. There's no fruit on that tree. Yeah? Na eh phal phikke full bakbake kamna aave pat. Na patte ka mande, na the phal ka mande, the fruits are nauseating, the fruits are tasteless, the leaves are useless. You can't do anything with this tree. So what's the teaching for us? Mittat nivi nanaka gun changyaya tat. Be humble. Be a shade-giving tree. Be humble and give shade. Don't be high up there. Koi fayda nahi toda. To the rest of the world, you're not going to help anybody. Be low, be mittha, and that is the essence of goodness. But then Maharaj says, hold on, watch out. There's a dodgy thing about becoming overly humble, fake humbleness, yeah? Say, look, sabko neve aapko, parko neve na koi. Everybody bows down, everybody says, Minnu matha teko. No one's prepared to matha take anybody else. Yeah? Then Maharaj says, but then watch out. Everybody's got hankar, they want people to bow down to them, but then look at this. Yeah? Tar taraju toliye, Niveso gora hoy. When you got the weighting machine, the one who is nivna, the one who's higher, the one who's lower, is the heavier one. So if you look at all, if we're going to be weighed, the more humbleness we have, the more we're going to be accepted and blessed. They're using world examples. People in those days, I remember when I was growing up in India, by the way, when you go to a shop to buy something, they would still pull out the weights, and they would put all their weights on this side, and they would put your things on this side, and they would weigh off. When I say niveso gora hoy, the more humble you are, the lower down you go, the more valuable you are. But then they say, watch out for this as well. Another problem. Apradi duna nive jo hanta mirgahe. But they watch out for these sinners who fake humbles, because when they are people who are hunters, and they want to hunt the deer, they hide really low. They are even lower than a normal person. They hide because they don't want to get caught, and they'll shoot you from below. Apradi duna nive. Twice as much he bows down. But Maharaj says, Sis nevaya kya thiye jeridde kusadde jahe. Again, Rich, you can see Maharaj talking about fakeness, real talk. So what's the point of all this bowing down if actually deep down your heart is impure? So you might think of it this way. You see people, right? Oh, matha tek ke aadne chiti Gurdwara. Pop in quickly, matha tek, and then straight out to the pub. Right? Wedding time, that's what happens, isn't it? Now in Punjab, they don't even go to the Gurdwara for the wedding. So ki jana yaar, stay here in the wedding hall, send 5 people to the wedding, you come back. But fit every Sunday, the Gurdwara, quick matha tek, and back there out to langar, and then with their mates. Maharaj say, ki hega? Ye pakhand nahi hega. Bowing down, being really low, in front of everybody else, you pop in, you put your 100 rupees down, feel all holy. But Riddhe Suddha, Sikhi is about the Guru purifying you. So how can we be pure and be impure? Then Maharaj carries on. Mahalla pehla, pad pustak sandhya badang, sil pujas bagal samadang, mukh chut bepaukan sarang, trapa tehal vicharang, gal mala tidak lilatang, toy toti bastar kapatang, jai janas brahmang karmang, sab phokar nehcho karmang, kaho nanak nehto te ave, vin satguru vaat na pave. What is it? Maharaj is talking about these Pundits. He says, look, you read your books, you say your prayers, you get in debates, you worship stones, you sit like a stork on one leg, doing all this worshipping, you pretend to be in samadhi, your eyes are closed but your mind is everywhere else. Holy people they're talking about. With your mouth you utter falsehood, but you got all these beautiful decorations all over yourself, right? You look very nice, and then you recite the Gayatri 3 times a day, around your neck is a rosary, on your forehead is a sacred mark. People with a show, outward show. And then you got your head, you got a turban, you wear 2 loincloths to show you're very chaste. Then, but Jai Janas Brahmang Karmang. If you knew God, your hair ki, then you will realize this, Sapokot Nishchokar. You will realize all of this is all vain. And Kaho Nanak Nehcho Tyave. With deep faith, meditate, when Satguru Vaat na pave. That the Guru, but the Guru, now what does Satguru mean? It doesn't mean the true Guru. Sat means truth. Sat. A Guru of the truth. Without a Guru to teach you the truth, an enlightened being who's already enlightened and then comes to teach you the truth, you will not find the way. Because the world will convince you this is enough. This was me when I was 21. I was convinced that being a Sikh consisted of going to Gurdwara, matha taking heavy langar, and sitting there for 2 minutes, maybe when you get older, giving 10%. Booking a Khand Path once a year, Sukhmani Sahib when your kid is born. Innit? You get convinced this is Sikhi. Because no one tells you anything different. But Sikhi is not this. Jai Janas Brahmang Karmang. If you knew what God was now, that is inside you, and you're supposed to find God, you would not follow these ways. And then you would find a Guru. If you find a Guru, you will find the way. Other bits. Some of these bits are the bits that are in Asa Di Var that are not so famous, but I thought I'd bring them to you. You've seen this, Maharaj, you talk about the 4 jugs. Now some people don't believe in the 4 jugs. They don't believe the world went through different stages of consciousness. But Guru Sahib talks about Asa Di Var. They go, in your body you got 2 things. The chariot and the charioteer. Mere sarir ka. So what your body, what is driving you, and the person who's controlling it. And you might see the man in that way. Maharaj says, you have this, You have a chariot and charioteer. In age after age they change. And the spiritual wise understand this. What was in the golden age, Satyug, people had contentment, that was a chariot, and righteousness, they were just. This was the status of that world, this is what it was like. And then what happened after that? Excuse me, in Dwapar, you had Chariot, at that time was celibacy. So people were not content, but they were controlling themselves. Okay? And they had control over themselves and power, jor, they had a lot of strength, and that was a charity, right? Then it goes lower down. The next thing you've got penance, people doing tap samjam, and truth. They still knew the truth, right? And that was driving them. That at least, okay, we may not have control and stuff, but we still know what the truth is. And then what happens in this jug? The truth gets lost. Yeah, falsehood is a charity. Total, there's no truth. It's all gone. The illusion is leading the way, and fire, desire is a chariot. Everybody's got so much desire for more, either with lust or anger or greed. All these things are fire, agun. So this is the status of the world. The world is like this now. Yeah, greed and falsehood. Total spiritual darkness and greed is what's driving the world now. And the Sikh is trying to live in Sajjug. The Sikh is trying to have contentment and work with righteousness. Dharam, what is right and what is not right. Body. Again about some bit of pyar. Sahib hoye dayal kirpa kare tasai kar karaisi. If you get blessed, you perform the service. What is that service? So sevak seva kare jisno hukam manaisi. What is seva? We think going to Gurdwara, washing up pande, clean the toilets a little bit, adan seva. Mara says, nahi. A seva is done by a sevak. Think of it this way. Service is done by a servant. Somebody who is a servant has to have a master. So first you get a master and you become a servant. And then as a servant you can do service. You can't not have a master and not be a servant and still do service. So sevak seva kare jisno hukam manayasi. Those that accept the order of the master become a servant, and then they can do seva. Seva is much deeper than just washing up some pandi. Because what could happen otherwise is, wash up some pandi, walk out, look at me, I done so much seva, I'm such a good Sikh, aren't I? Poison. Ego is poison. Yeah? And that's what's going to give you. If you don't become a servant. If you say, Waheguru, thank you so much for blessing me with a chance to serve you. Now you've understood what it was. To do your work. Yeah? So sevak. And then, Hukam maniye hove parvan ta khasme ka mahal paisi. If you accept his hukam, then you'll be accepted. So Sikhi is about following the Guru's order. Yeah? What the Guru says, if you do that, then you're following Sikhi. Guru is leading the way and he's saying, follow me. If you're not following the path, then you're sitting on the sidelines, then you're not following. You can't be a follower and be chilling. Either you're chilling and you're waiting to see whether you want to start following, or you're following. But Maharaj is clear. That is what allows you to get saved, to follow. The one who acts to please his Lord Master then obtains the fruit of what he wants. Khasme pave so kare. Whatever makes him happy, we do that. We don't do what makes us happy, what makes our family happy. We do what will make Guru happy. This is what it means to be a sevak of the Guru. Guru sevak. You heard this word, Guru sevak. This is what it means. To listen to what he says. Then you go there and you have Paida Jaisi. You get this robes of honor. So now Maharaj says, look, you accept the bread from the Muslim, but you worship the Puranas. They're talking about Hindus that still secretly worship the Puranas, but yet go and take bread of the Muslim rulers. What do they do else? They eat the goat that the Muslim does, even after it was read out and it was given to you as halal meat. Halal meat is only when the prayer is read over the meat. Yeah? You do this and yet you're a secret Hindu. Yeah? They say, but they don't allow anybody else into the kitchen areas. Say, oh, we're still pure, you can't come into our kitchen. They've done all this stuff, eating goat for the Muslim, and yet they think they're pure. Guru Sahib said, look, you draw a line around your kitchen, because have you seen this in India? They do draw like little chalk lines on the ground, yeah? If you don't know, you can Google it. You plaster cow dung to make it purified. A bit strange, but yeah, it is seen that way. Then Maharaj says, you made all this place pure, you washed it, you made lines around it, you put cow dung to make it, and then the false person goes and sits on top. You yourself are not pure, but you sit on top of this area. Yeah? And you think you're pure now. Right? Then they say, look, don't touch our food, it will be polluted. Mat fitte, eho an asada fitte. Don't touch my food or it will get polluted. But you yourself are polluted, Maharaj is saying. Khana nahi polluted, but tusi aap polluted hai. But with their polluted bodies, they commit evil deeds. Yeah? With their filthy minds, they try to cleanse their mouth. Chulli karde hege, chulli, but yet their mouth is dirty because they're saying wrong things. So it's again about, Maharaj says, Kaho Nanak sach te aave, such hove ta sach paiye. If you become pure, then you will find the truth. The outside stuff doesn't work. God is not some foolish person you can fool with all this stuff. Even me walking around here speaking these words, if I myself am not living this life, it means nothing. All this stuff on the outside. Mahalla Pehla, Maharaj says, look, just like a woman has periods month after month, so does falsehood come in the mind of the false people. They suffer again and again. Yeah? So basically, Guru Sahib is not criticizing the idea of women being impure. And there's more lines about this, I couldn't put them all in. But the point is, the falsehood is in the mind of the person and not in the woman. Yeah? Then they say, those are not called who sit pure, who are washing their bodies and they become pure. Suche sei nanaka jinamana vasya soi. You only become pure when God's in your mind. Yeah? Ritually outside washing doesn't make you pure. Yeah? Then another one. Maharaj says, look, Nanak Bhagta Pukh Salahan. What are the Bhagats hungry for? To praise you. As Maharaj says, Puran hoye hamari asa, tor bhajan ki rahe pyasa. Let me be thirsty to sing your praises. Why? Sach naam adhar. Only the name is their support. Sacha naam mera adharu. So this is what a Sikh is aiming towards. To praise God and to be, the name is of God. The connection, what's name mean? Connection. Like if we all say Vaheguru now, yeah, let's try five times, yeah? Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Some people felt it. Some people didn't. But they were saying it. So Naam is when it works. So a Sikh is asking that when I say your name, let me feel you. Naam is the actual feeling of saying Vaheguru. Those people that criticize people that repeat name, they don't feel it when they say it. Because they're haini. Yeah? Those people that say it, they're not mad, they keep saying it. Masti which only can, they don't care who else is not saying or saying. And then I got it, I'm going to keep on saying it. Nanak Bhagta Pukh Salahan Sachinam Adhar. The next one, Sara Anand Rahe Din Rati Gunvantiya Pasa. Day and night they stay in Anand. Another one you might have seen this, yeah? They say if you, okay, impure, this is about the women. They say if you accept the woman is impure because she's given birth or she's having the period. If you accept this idea of impurity this way, then it goes everything is impure then. Kyo? In cow dung and wood there are little worms and they're reproducing. Right? You're cooking your food with the cow dung. In the water there's little gems. Maharaj says, in fact, in the corn itself that you're eating, nothing is without life. You're killing life when you eat it. Right? Then the things are having birth inside there. That should be polluted as well. But pehla pani jio hai, jit harya sab koi. Even water itself has life inside it and it makes everything else green. How can you protect water and food from impurity? It touches your kitchen. Your kitchen themselves is impure then. Yeah? Maharaj says that look, now impurity cannot be removed this way. It's only washed away with Gyan. Nanak sutak evna utre Gyan utare tohi. Yeah? Wisdom. Not book knowledge, but wisdom of what is impurity, to realize that when I think wrong, I'm impure. Yeah? And Maharaj says on to say this, look, Man ka sutak lobh hai, jeva sutak kood. This is the impurity, greed. Tongue is falsehood when you speak lies. Yeah? That's when you become impure. Then, akhi. Now look at this, is a nice one, yeah? For the women, this is a nice one, right? Maharaj says to the man, don't think that the woman is impure, it's your eyes that are impure. The woman might be wearing nothing, but Guru Arjan Dev Ji could be looking, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, when they was presented with these women that came dancing to him, he said, Pehno, they got ashamed, your eye had to tempt him, and yet Maharaj is not without this lust. So the guy's eyes that have to be controlled by the guy himself, and not the woman has to be controlled. Yeah? The onus is on the man. Akhi sutak dvekna partreya par tan roop. Oh, how beautiful she is. Yeah? Then, impurity is to listen to nindya of other people. Maharaj says, if you go this way, you get badde jampur jai. You go to the death. You don't go to the house of God, go to the house of death. Maharaj said, look, if you're not going to stay in this world, why do you get so much pride? Then they say, don't quote anybody bad. Banda kisi na aakiye par akhar eho bujiye. I make this mistake all the time. Murkhe na lajiye. You've heard this before. That's where it comes from. Don't quote someone bad. Don't argue with idiots either. Now another one, you've heard this, yeah? Man says, tusi salam jawab. You salam to your guru. You matha take to your guru. Salam. Then jawab. Jawab means Guru Sahib asks you to do something. You say, I can't do it. What jawab hunda? So once you bow down to him, accept him as your Lord and Master, my head is yours, and yet 2 minutes later he asks you to do something, you say, no, I don't want to do it. Salam jawab do ve kare, mundo khutta jai. From the very beginning you've gone wrong. Yeah? It wasn't accepted anyway. Maharaj says both of those things are false then, and you don't get a place. So do realize, to become a servant is a Sikh's job. To accept the Lord, accept Guru Sahib as the Master is what a Sikh is. A Sikh is a chela. A chela has a sahib. Yeah? Oh sahib, main uska chela. Maharaj is telling you, it's a two-way relationship. You've got a sahib and you've got a chela. Yeah? If we're the chela, then we have to have a sahib. Joji hoy so ugve. What's inside you will come out anyway, and your words will give it away. Yeah? You can't hide what's inside you. It will come out. Yeah, you've heard this. Nanak khas hukam tilna khasam chale ardas. That's when we do, when we eat our food. That comes from there as well. You can't do order to him. You can only ask. So don't try to order your guru. Ask him. Ardas karni pendi hegi hai. This is the last bit. This is how we got to the end. The last bit of Asa Di Var finishes off with this, which is Nanak ek hi bahri hor duji nahi jai. This is the bit about duality I talked about. Maharaj is answering Asa Di Var and finished off with this thing that there is no duality. There's only ek. Ek hi bahri hor duji nahi. There's nowhere else to go but the one. We come from the one, we have to go back to the one. So kare chite se rajai. He does what he wills, and what do we do? What he wills. Same thing, unity of purpose, yeah? Right, Shuddh. What's this word about? Comes at the very end, by itself. Why does it come by itself? Shuddh means pure. The literal meaning of it is Shuddh means pure. Guru Sahib has put it in. How is it pure? Guru Arjan Dev Ji is reciting Bani, right? Bhai Gurdas is sitting there writing it down. They describe. And then Maharaj comes over to check what Bhai Gurdwaras is written. And when he's checked it and everything is right, say, Hari Onkar, everything is perfect, no spelling mistakes, then they said, Shuddh. I've checked it. It's a tick mark. It's a tick mark. In Bani is a tick mark of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, what Bhai Gurdwaras was writing. But this tick mark has remained the same. The Bani has not changed since Guru Arjan Dev Ji checked it. Why is this unique? Very unique this word Shuddh. It doesn't appear in any other scripture. No, nowhere else. Because editing and checking is the hardest part. Believe you me, reciting is not hard compared to editing and checking. Yeah? When we do talks, if I gave this talk to one of you guys to even write down, even then you would make mistakes. Guarantee, I have to check it. Yeah? This is the way it works. So, most faiths have huge debates over spelling and grammar of the text. Did it mean this? Did it mean that? Right? But yet we are blessed because Guru Granth Sahib Ji is checked by the Guru for us, the Prophet, there and then. Not afterwards, there and then they checked it. Yeah? Now, the Bible was not checked by Jesus. Not criticizing the Bible, but this is the truth. Yeah? Quran was not checked by Prophet Muhammad. Yeah? It wasn't. 60 years after his death, it was compiled, and it was compiled when you had 2 witnesses per surah, it was added. If it didn't have 2 witnesses, it was gotten rid of. That system was not something that Prophet Muhammad said that after I die, make sure you have 2 witnesses. It's not a system that he made. Yeah? There was no copy of the Quran when Prophet Muhammad left. Okay? It was only compiled after him, 60 years. So, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is very unique in that sense. Even the Gita, okay, it was not checked by Krishna. Yeah? So, you must understand, this word Shuddh is very important to us. It comes right at the end. After it says, so kare jati se rai, so kare jati se rai, because we repeat the last 2 bits of the body, and then it says, Shuddh. So remember this word, it shows to us how our scripture is very authentic. It was a bit of a whirlwind tour of Asa Di Var. I've not done justice to Asa Di Var in the slightest. Yeah? It's very deep. My sincere recommendation would be listen to some kirtan of it and try and follow it on Sikhi to the max. If you want a slow version, you can listen to Bhai Balbir Singh's version. It's very slow and he pauses after each line, and you could click next on Sikhi to the max and just follow it on the PowerPoint slide like I've copied those slides in. Or you can watch on rajkriyakasa.net. It's like a YouTube channel. You can go in there and people are reading it and you can follow it line by line. It's a bit faster. But definitely check it out. It's awesome. Yeah? And it's just, everything is in there. It's like an elephant. Yeah? It is literally. There's so many bits to it. I'm sure I made loads of mistakes. My apologies, there's no time for questions. I have to mention one thing. because I forgot. There is a shabad in there which is very clear about Guru's status. Bin Satguru kine na payo, bin Satguru kine na paya. No one got to God without a teacher of the truth. Satguru vich aap rakhyun kar pargat aak sunaya. God has placed himself in Satguru and has made it obvious to everybody. Aak sunaya. Satguru Jevar Data ko nahi. It comes later as well. So if you went to Guru Nanak Dev Ji's court or Guru Arjan Dev Ji's court back in those days, 500 years ago, do you think you'd be told, oh, he's a teacher? No. They will say these words. God has placed himself in Guru Nanak. He's come as a light of God. Yeah? So don't reduce Guru. We talked about AGB. Don't reduce Guru to the status of a teacher. He is, for us, the walking light of God. Yeah? Kal Taran Guru Nanak Aya. He's come as a light of God to save the world. So we should worship our Guru in that sense. And he is now in Bani. So worship Bani. Let's finish up with Guru Sahib's, ask for Guru Sahib's blessings that we all can learn more about his Bani. Because one thing I didn't mention, there was Homme. And Maharaj says the solution to Homme, Kirpa kare je apni, ta Gur ka shabad kamaye. If Guru Sahib blesses us, if God blesses us, we can earn the Guru's word. Earn the Guru's word is to repeat it and understand it and then live upon it. Yeah? So if we are blessed, we can earn Guru's shabad. So Maharaj Kirpa kare, we all can follow his Bani. Please forgive my mistakes and the countless mistakes I made. Puna chukka dikhe bakhshin ji. Gaj karke fateh akhni. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa. Vaheguru ji ki fateh.